First and foremost, when you're decorating a tree, you need to have some sort of theme. Now, the theme does not have to be this extravagant thing. It can be simply, I like red and green and traditional. That's a theme, all right? You want your tree to look a little bit more classy, a little bit more elegant, have some style to it. Now, if you have a family of kids, don't take that away from them, just have 2 trees, okay? In fact, it's called Fraser fir. She has a beautiful form. If you are the type of person who likes collectible ornaments, like Christopher Radko and all these others, they're very fancy, nice, expensive ornaments, this is the kind of tree that really shows them off. Because when you place them on the branch, it has space to show off. If you have a tree that's thick like this, or even fuller like some of the sheared ones that you buy that are fresh, and the ornament just sits on the outside of it, like an apple hanging there on the side, it's not a really pretty display, okay? So, expensive, more unusual ornaments look better in a tree like this. So sometimes to get attention, we want to do things that are a little more novelty, a little more unusual. Think outside the box. Keep the basin underneath here full of water. I wouldn't suggest adding any kind of floral food to it, even though you hear that it's a good thing. A lot of times, in fact, most of the time, people don't do it properly. And sometimes doing it improperly can actually be worse than just using plain water. Because think about it, you're adding sugar to water, that's what the plants use for food, and sugar and water allows bacteria and algae to start to grow. So I'll give you a few little tips on how to light. How many of you have a tree that you've probably only put nothing but clear lights on? Anybody? Yeah? The thing with that is, clear lights, they give off every spectrum of color in the rainbow. Think about it. Light is made up of a rainbow of colors. So a clear light has all the colors. However, most Christmas ornaments generally have 1 or 2 really strong colors. Reds look especially good if you would put some red lights in the tree. The reason being, what your eye is seeing is the light reflected off of that ornament to your eye. So if you supply red light in the tree, your red ornaments look better. Some strings of multicolored lights, and I know people go, ooh, multicolored, that's so not cool. No, it actually works out really great. Tuck them down deep inside the tree. Don't set the big bulb out here on the end. Put them all down on the inside. What that does is you get the light, but you don't get the glare from those bulbs. And it creates prettier looking ornaments because you're supplying all these colors. These are the ones that most of us have used over the years after the screw-in bulbs, what we call twinkle lights or mini lights. When you first buy them, if you'll take them out of the package, hold them up, and then start twirling them like this, around and around, and let them drop, you will unwind the wire enough that it won't curl up like a pigtail. These snowflake lights, and place them down inside the tree. They got just a little bit of a twinkle. Then over the top of them, I've added in how many 100 lights per foot if you're using just the little mini lights. All right, next thing, after lights. Bows and ribbon, things that take up space. The thing about the chenille stems, they're fuzzy and they're green, so they blend into the tree really well. You don't notice them. And instead of using those ornament hooks, I hate those things. You know, all it takes is one bump and they fall off. Here you actually twist it around like a bread tie around the branch and it holds it on. But it's not so tight that you just can't, at the end of the season, grab the bow, give it a little twisty twiddle, and pull off the bow and store it. Then we're going to take our streamers. And we're just going to tuck them down into the tree. Don't be stingy, don't pull them tight. This is to be casual, beautiful, flowy. Just put the ball on the damn tree. But having had a few years experience in this, you're not going to do that, right? Okay. Spread them out. Give them some elbow room. We got plenty of room here for other stuff. We don't have to feel like all the bows have to be together. There are really quick ways to decorate trees, and this is done a lot for commercial settings. We will take artificial garland, not the big, full, showy stuff, but the smaller, skimpier garland, and we'll decorate it with ribbons and things. And then when we get to a setting, we literally start at the bottom and wrap the garland through the tree. So by the time we go around it about 8 or 10 times with garlands, it's already totally decorated. It's done. The lights are in the garland, the bows are on the garland, the ornaments are on the garland, everything is there. And at the end of the season, you just unwind all the garlands and stretch them out, fold them up, put them in boxes. The next thing is the ornaments. Buy very inexpensive. I never use the word cheap because that implies they're like my family. They're affordably priced plastic ornaments because, they're still pretty. And so we cluster them together on a chenille stem so that when we go to add them, and that's how we use plastic. It's a lot like playing hopscotch sometimes. If you catch it on the first bounce, you give yourself 5 points. And then this way, we're getting a lot of visual impact out of little small ornaments. Bring on the big stuff, okay? It's just styrofoams. I know they're up there. It's just quick. Big old candy I'm putting in is larger size, but we're slowly beginning to get a little bit small. Sometimes on fresh trees, if the ornament's a little heavy, I'll actually take 2 branches that are really close to each other and bind them both together to give some support. You don't have to, it's not a cardinal sin if you attach it to more than 1 branch. It's a little cutesy, it's a little sweet, forgive the pun. It's very traditional red